What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I am joined once again by Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am infinitely awesome. Thank you for asking. Sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
What was
Oh,
that long dramatic pause about?
I don't think it was a dramatic pause. I think there was a little bit of lag in the internet. So your question came in a little bit delayed. So my response to you seemed delayed. Or whoever internet lag. Maybe mine did, maybe yours did. I don't know.
You remember when Jamie Foxx walked into Happy Hogan's house and he looked in the security camera and there was a surge of like energy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just what happened right now when I was saying how infinitely awesome I am.
Oh, okay. So you're
Hey,
like,
I gotta tone it down some, man. I'm
listen.
just
So does that mean that all these problems that we had with the internet, with Discord, is that all your fault?
I don't want to have to go ahead and put that out there like that.
Hey, you've been causing all this electrical interference this whole damn time.
Magneto ain't the only Omega mutant out there in the world. That's a true statement.
That is a true statement. But we're not talking about mutants right now. Not right now.
No, not now.
Right now, what we're talking about are dragons.
Yeah, because we're here. Spider,
Almost
do you
here.
realize that we time traveled? Yeah, because when this series ended, we was like, where's the next one? And now here it is. So we went from there to this. And if you guys are referring to what I'm talking about, y'all can go back and watch our House of the Dragon breakdowns, and you can see how we got from there to here. Time travel.
You know what? In all
What's that?
by all definitions of a literal explanation of time travel, to get from one point in time,
this is true,
to another point in time.
That's how it works. Yeah.
You are not making a false statement to say that we have time traveled.
What? All I do is tell the truth. What are you talking about?
Because when people think of time travel, of course, the connotation behind time travel is instantaneously going from one point in time to a point in time that's either way in the future or way in the past from your
That's
originating time period. And that's an instantaneous thing. But the literal definition of time travel is just going from one time to another time, where we are time traveling every second that we're alive, because we are no longer in the past from where we were to where we are now. So yes, we have time travel.
Rock stars.
We have time travel from the past to where season 1 of House of the Dragon ended, to where we are now here, about to do a reaction to the season 2 trailer, the final season 2 trailer, I believe, of House of the Dragon.
And you know what? Let me tell you one thing else, Spider, and how relevant it is to what we just talked about. This is a meta for you. It's a show that has time jumps in it.
Oh my God, so many time jumps. Will we see as many time jumps this season as we saw last season?
I sure in heck hope not.
Because we were jumping like 5 and 10 years between episodes.
That was the one pet peeve I had about the show, that the time jump, and that's, understand that was the worst pet peeve that I have, because the stories were so good and the acting was so well. You just wanted to stay in the pocket, even though they kind of went back and forth, but not really. You just wanted that nice block of time. Listen, if you wake up and you can't remember patches of time, and you're just older, they call that Alzheimer's?
Alzheimer's.
I forgot. That's what it was called.
Actually, I think it's called dementia.
Well, I lost that time. So I don't want that to happen. And you don't want it to happen either. So you need to hit the subscribe button so you
Before
can
you
stay
forget.
up with all things super before you miss out on time. Because this is the best show that you watch or listen to. It's unscripted and you have a good time every time. If you don't, I can give you your free money back. Spider say he ain't getting back nothing.
I listen. I didn't sign any contract with anybody, so
Hey, they didn't pay for
what I get,
anything,
I keep.
so
So,
oh wow, time travel.
But if you didn't know, this is All Things Super, where every week we take a piece of superpower movies, TV shows, even trailers, as we are doing today. We watch them, we react to them, we break them down, we review them, and we ask the question: is it super?
Is it super?
Is it super?
Time traveling mother.
We will find out. But if you like that, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to follow us on social media, just click the link in the description below.
And leave comments because we like reading those.
We do like reading the comments.
I'm gonna throw one out there. Colgate or Crest. There's one that I like. I'm just saying.
I've historically used Colgate more than I've used Crest, but it's not because of a preference over like the flavor or the consistency or even the price point. It's
just loyalty at this point. You're just loyal to Colgate.
Just an unfounded loyalty, to be honest with you, because I have no like driving reason why I buy Colgate. It's like I've always bought Colgate, so I'll just buy Colgate. But it's not to say like if I was somewhere else and somebody else, like I'm staying at somebody else's house and they have another toothpaste, you know.
You slap it out their hand. I'm a Colgate man. Yeah. Get out of here. What is that? What is that? Huh? Get that out of here.
Aquafresh who?
Aquafresh what? Get that out of here. What is this? This is not Colgate. I don't understand him, Spider. Why?
I'm that 10th dentist. 9 out of 10 dentists use Crest. I'm the 10th dentist. I use Colgate.
Oh,
why is it always 9 out of 10? Couldn't just some days in like 7 out of 10 dentists prefer this? It's like it's always 9 out of 10. Who is that 10th dentist that just wants to be contrarian? But like, nope. Everybody else could vote for it. I'm against it.
Somebody did a commercial like that. Like that 10 dentist was tied up or something. And it's like they took it back and said 10 out of 10 dentists. It could have been Colgate.
Like you don't want to agree with us? That's fine. That's fine.
That's fine. You'll never go home again.
We have this. You know, we just want to do a survey, get an exit interview before you leave. If you just step into this other room,
that's horrible.
Quick. That's what they did in Men in Black.
And then there's a dragon in there.
Oh, see, I was talking about neuralizing people, but now you want to talk about dragons. But let's talk about dragons.
Okay.
But no, like you said,
I have no idea if there's going to be the time jumps in this one.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Because I think that we were dealing with formative years. And from what I've learned or from what I've been told is that the books that the show is based off of also did a lot of time jumps in the books because these stories are supposed to be retellings of things that were overheard and passed down. So when we get like huge blow-ups that happen in the public eye, like the scene where Sir Criston killed Laenor's lover in the middle of the dining hall. Like that's a big public thing. That's something that everybody knew. But when it comes to like more closeted conversations, things that are happening behind closed doors, that was a little fewer in between because those private conversations may not have been heard by whoever is the person that's telling these stories. Because that's the way it's based off. It's based off the account of, people, because we saw that they were talking about the rats, right? They have rats all over the castle. So it's basically
the king is dead.
And it's an allegory for we have ears everywhere. So we're hearing things. And we saw with a little young kid that they that saw Rhaenyra in the brothel, I think, and went and told like the mistress or whatever. So there are people that are all around. I don't want to.
Well, it's no different. It's no different if you're a celebrity in the city, when you step out in the public eye, people are watching what
Right.
you do. There's no way that she can have gone in a brothel. And then the weirdest thing, which we'll talk about later, this uncle and niece thing that's going
I
on.
mean, it's Game of Thrones, so
It's yeah, that's the only medium you can get away with it in. So
I don't want you to go ahead and challenge Hollywood with that, because they'll just start
I think
making
there's
shows that's
I think
all
there's
it's about.
I think there's rules and regulations at some point.
I mean, are
You can
they
only
though?
get away with it then because it was depicted as a norm then. And somewhere along
You
the
know
line,
what?
it's like, hey, you can't,
I'm not gonna challenge
you
it.
can't Game of Thrones this, okay? Because in the original Jon Snow, you know how I go.
I don't actually. I never saw
Yeah, because you didn't watch it. Because
it. And
I
I've
don't
held true to
believe
my word. I wasn't gonna go back and watch it either.
you meant what you said. This is a man that means what he say, ladies and gentlemen.
And
I'm
I
just
say what I
saying.
mean.
Okay.
But yes, it is in true Game of Thrones fashion. It follows the same, the same gore, the same, sexual scenes, and the same,
Yeah, this foot fetish thing is
incestuous.
new.
Oh yeah, that I
Yeah,
forgot about
that
that. But yes,
wasn't in a.
that is a
Yeah,
thing.
that's in there. Will there be more of that?
Probably.
Listen, HBO cut their teeth in having content like this. It's not that shocking for the production to be this on this. And you could take it or you could leave it, but it goes to tell great story
Yes.
because you're motivated by other things outside of the norms and the whispers, like you said, of the common folk and the secrets, how it gets back. I mean, if you really went back and watched Game of Thrones, you would know in the early seasons those secrets were dire for it, and how the word got around and how things was taboo and not really taboo, but at the same time royalty. And we're going all the way back into that world. Well, the time jumps is what we're alluding to. I would like it if they didn't rush it. But
Yeah.
with these platforms and streaming services, you don't know if you're going to get a season two. Look how many shows got canceled while they were doing the show. Oh yeah,
Right.
we're canceled. So you may want to try to squeeze it all in all the opportunity that you have. Now with them signed off for the second one, I don't know if they're signed on for a third one. They may try to squeeze as much in as they can. The thing about it is, it's only 5 books. Isn't it only five?
I have no clue about that
I
information.
think it's five. I think it's five. Well, I could be confusing that with Doom, but I think it's not
Dune
a whole
is
lot of books.
more than 5, I can tell you that for sure. Like the
Okay.
entire Dune series is more than 5 books.
Okay. So I don't know how many books this is, but if they feel like they won't get a season three, I think they'll probably stick to the time jumps and try to squeeze it all in.
And are we talking about books for
House of the Dragon.
just House of the Dragon, not including Game of Thrones?
No, not including Game of Thrones. Man, I hope we could get paid off of that. Get a sponsorship deal.
That is so. I'm trying to see how many books there are.
I think there are 3 or 5.
Nine books.
Of just House of Dragons?
It says House of the Dragon by George R. Martin, 9 books collection set.
Oh, well, they could slow down, Spider. They got a
You
lot to work
have
with.
no, because it's 9 books is for the whole thing. So you have the Game of
Okay.
Thrones prequels, Fire and Blood, and The Night of Seven Kingdoms. Then you have the Song of Ice and Fire series, where you have Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, Storm of Swords 1 and 2, Feast for Crows, and A Dance with Dragons 1 and 2. So I don't know like what encompasses what.
Well, we'll see. We'll start to see the wall go up. I know that the wall in the north. Somewhere along the line, walkers are going to have to come into play because this is not something that was just for the iteration of dragons that we all know and love, the original dragons. But to see this family dynamic play out, because if we remember correctly, at the end of season one, Rhaenyra found out that her son was eaten or killed
Yeah,
and eaten.
I mean, little column A, little column B.
And she didn't look like she was taking that too well.
No.
So
we are about to get into a full-on war.
Pretty much. So the War of the Dragons is, I don't know if that's the name of the book or that's just the name that they've given it, but the War of the Dragons is pretty much what we're about to watch play out. And I'm here for it.
I mean, season one, like we said, if you want to go back and listen to our recap of season
you
one,
should
and our
go
review,
back and listen to it.
Go check it out. But we did say that
put it on while you're cooking something for the kids.
We did say that season one was super. We did enjoy season one. There were some great scenes. There were some great story arcs, and there's a very compelling story to go throughout the entire first season. So being able to pick back up and continue on with these characters, we already know that characters are going to die. We already know that
Thrones, baby.
No one is safe.
No one is safe. They'll kill your favorite character.
Yes, and they'll do it in episode 1 if they want to. But so we know, it's going to be a very dramatic thing. So, I mean, like we talked about at the end of season 1, Rhaenyra has lost her youngest son. Well, not the youngest because there's still a baby that was just born, I believe.
With so many time jumps, I can't confirm or deny.
And all of the names are familiar because didn't they? I don't know.
Time traveling takes a lot out of you, Spider. I just want you to know that.
One thing that you'll notice if you go back and watch our previous reviews of the episodes from season 1, and when we get into the episodes in season 2 and we do our reviews, there are going to be a lot of times where we call people by the wrong name, or we have to take a second to look up the names of the person that we're talking about. Because first of all, stop naming people the same thing for different generations and not have a number behind their name, because I don't know how many Aegons there are. And,
Aegon, the all-star breakfast. I don't know. There's a lot of them though.
But just call somebody Junior. Aegon, call somebody Deuce. Call them Trip, because if they're the third or something.
So many other names you could use.
Also
Max, true. John, Jacob, Jingleheimer, Smith. You could use any
one of them. But
hey,
yeah,
that's
so
my name too.
We are. It's a problem.
Aegon.
Lego my ego, but we'll it's one of the things that we'll have to make sure that we just try to identify. I say because I think this is another. Is it 8 episodes or 10 episodes this season?
That's a great question that I can't answer, even if I try to, without
I want to say it's 8. I'm hoping that I'm wrong and it's actually 10, but
with all this story that they have to tell, again, don't rush it. You got a little time. I mean, if you guys do what you did in the first season, there's no reason that you shouldn't get a third season. And then you don't want to run out of story unless that's the plan, to start to kind of narrate a new story.
Probably. I mean, if you taking different stories from the books and you want to, because there are a number of characters and a number of houses in the entire Game of Thrones series, so they can easily just take somebody, branch it off, and start creating this whole
universe,
Game of Thrones. Yeah, Game of Thrones anthology series where you focus on a different character or a different house, every season. But there are reportedly 8 episodes in season 2. There were 10 in season 1, and there are going to be 8 in season 2.
There's a crack in the armor. There's a crack right there in the armor.
Now,
the inconsistency.
I mean, we have seen some shows with only 8 episodes that were super. We've also seen shows with more than 8 episodes that aren't necessarily super. So it's not that there's a requirement on number of episodes before a show is super or not, but more likely than not, you can do more in 10 episodes than you can in 8. It's like we were talking about. It's a little less rushed. Some things can be a little bit more fleshed out, but we'll have to see what happens.
I appreciate if the money went where it's supposed to go, i.e., special effects and the story is there, and you can consistently tell a cohesive story. The longer episodes would be better, but if you're gonna give us, I mean, when I say episodes, I mean the 10 versus the 8. But if you're gonna give us like filler that we don't really need,
yeah. And I will say that even though there was 10 episodes in season 1, I wouldn't say that there was a lot of filler. I feel like everything was pretty meaningful.
I agree. I wanted the king to live longer till he took that mask off.
You might want to just go ahead and
let him go.
Yeah, just go take a nap.
Writers, let him go. You're hurting him. He shall live on through our memories.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, the king was dead.
But the core conflict of this whole story, if you're not too familiar with House of the Dragon, is that Rhaenyra, let's quick recap of season 1.
TBD.
Viserys's father, I think he was Aegon Targaryen, or he was a Targaryen. Anyway, Viserys' father was dying. He needed to name a successor. He named Viserys as a successor over his older sister Rhaenys, who was the firstborn, should have been the rightful successor, but because she was a woman, they weren't going to leave the kingdom over to a woman. So Viserys gets the crown. Rhaenys is the queen that never was. Fast forward to Viserys having kids.
These names, I forgot about these names.
Yeah. Fast forward to Viserys having kids. I'm sorry, I don't remember his wife's name, but his wife, he has a daughter, Rhaenyra, but he keeps trying to have a son, so he has someone to be his successor. And despite several sons dying and stillbirth, he kept trying. His wife was pregnant again. She's having a baby. He has to make a decision. One of them are going to die, either the mom or the child. His wife is kind of pleading to like, hey, look, we can try again. Well, we can if I'm dead. But so he elected to save the child instead of saving.
She said she's not doing it again.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she said, I'm not doing it again. I can't bear it.
That pretty much made up his mind then. So Viserys,
he didn't make a decision. He was quiet. He was like holding his son, and he was like, he couldn't come to make a decision. But time was moving, and a decision was going to be made.
Well, no, he made the decision because they had to do the C-section.
And then they did it, and then the baby died.
Right.
And then she died.
Well, she died first, and then the baby died. So he tried to have his cake and eat it too, and then he ended up with nothing.
And died.
Well, that's later on.
But before he died,
he did name Rhaenyra as his successor, much to the chagrin of the entire kingdom and all of his board of trustees.
Because she's a woman.
Because she's a woman, and they don't want to be led by a woman. So Otto Hightower, who is the hand of the king, basically his right hand man, his guy that's in his ear telling him his vizier, basically the Jafar. So you said
before there was a guy in a chair, there was a guy in the ear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which, interestingly enough, the guy in the chair is also the guy in the ear.
Yep.
All things super, Lil.
Making connections all over the world. But so Otto, wanting to have more power to the Hightower name, invites his daughter, Alicent. Yeah, that's the name, right? Alicent? Yeah. Alicent, who is Rhaenyra's best friend.
It's almost like you watched the show.
It almost is like I watched the show. But Alicent, who's Rhaenyra's best friend, Otto takes his daughter and basically fluffs her up and pushes her to go flirt with Viserys, a grieving Viserys at this point. On in this show. And so ultimately Viserys marries Alicent and they have kids. So now he has boys. And growing up, Rhaenyra also, who is still supposed to be the rightful successor to the throne, she grows up, she also has boys. But she was betrothed to another house Valerian? of Driftmark.
Mm.
I think I remember that correctly. Let me know in the comments if I get any of the stuff wrong, because I know at some point there's going to be some part of it that I did get wrong. But she married Laenor, but who was secretly in a same-sex relationship. Mm-hmm. He was not attracted to women, and Rhaenyra just was like, hey, listen, I don't care. You do you, but
on us.
Keep my secrets secret.
Right.
You don't tell my stuff. I don't tell your stuff.
Back then they say keep it on
hush. Keep it on hush. But so Rhaenyra had children, but her children were not her husbands, and that was a big area of contention because Targaryens have, they
were strong kids.
Such strong boys. Strong boys. But Targaryens have blonde hair. The Valerians had like platinum blonde hair, and the kids came out like dark brunettes. So it's like, all right, we may not have science and understand genetics, but we know
they don't work right now.
This ain't right. And also, also the Valerians were of a darker pigmentation. They're black. And so it's like these babies are not mixed. So we can clearly see that these are not his kids. So that was an issue. In an area of ridicule for Rhaenyra's boys from Alicent's boys, because it was a whole like pure bloods versus muggles type thing, like Harry Potter, always being made fun of.
My goddamn wizard one.
Expelliarmus.
Here it is. It's the Goblet of Thirst.
Shouldn't it be the Goblet of Thirst quenching? Because you don't drink out of it to get thirstier.
It's cursed.
Oh, okay. It's a Goblet of Thirst, but it's cursed to quench your thirst instead of making you thirsty.
It's a cursed thirst.
A thirst curse. Oh my god.
It's a thirsty curse.
But so Alicent's boys and Rhaenyra's boys were constantly fighting because Alicent's boys would call Rhaenyra's boys Luke and Jace, constantly call them bastards and make fun of them and all that kind of stuff, to where
I told you they don't care about your feelings in this universe.
No, absolutely
at all.
To the point to where Luke slashed out Aemon's eye.
Yeah. Ain't no contact lenses back then either.
No,
so
no reparative surgery or anything.
No LASIK, nothing.
So they grow up. Of course, they still hate each other. They're to the point to where Rhaenyra has left King's Landing, I think.
No, she wouldn't be in King's Landing.
I don't know, wherever the castle is, wherever the Targaryen castle is. Because then she went to Dragon's Keep, I think is the name of it.
Yeah. Because her husband had to get Game of Thrones, and Damon's wife had to get Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and so then uncle married niece, and so they made the house Targaryen stronger.
Right.
Yeah, because Damon's wife was having a difficult childbirth, and she went up and kamikazed herself with her own dragon.
No, not Damon's wife didn't do that.
That was Damon's wife. His second wife. The first wife he beat upside the head with a rock.
Well, second wife didn't. She fell, and
then he finished her off. Well, yeah, she fell and she was like basically paralyzed because she couldn't get up. Oh no, her horse fell on her.
Right.
And then he beat her upside the head with a rock.
Divorces were different back then. Divorce till death do you part really meant to death.
To death. It didn't say who was going to cause the death.
Thrones, baby.
But death is what was going to be the final nail in the coffin. But so Daemon and Rhaenyra get married. They are now House Targaryen. They're the Blacks. Alicent and the High Towers are now the Greens. Mm-hmm. And so the rivalry between, I don't even know how to.
It's family drama. It's family drama.
The Aemon and Aegon are Jace and Luke's uncles.
Right.
Because they're Viserys's boys, so they're Rhaenyra's half brothers. And so, yeah, so
listen, with incest, these family branches of the tree
they all knotted up.
They look like the Idris tree in Loki. I'm trying to tell you.
But Viserys was ailing, and as he was slowly approaching death, his council kept trying to get him to reconsider having Rhaenyra be his successor because now he has boys. But Viserys stayed steadfast on his decision and said, no, I promised her that she was going to be queen. She's going to be queen. And so Viserys ends up passing away. But before he does, he has a sort of
hallucinogenic conversation with Alicent.
Yes.
Saying
nonsense. Saying that he felt like he relied too much on prophecy and he dreamed too much instead of being an effective king, which was a fear of his, that he wasn't going to be known for anything. And so he mentioned Aegon, and Aegon was his father, grandfather, something like that. But Aegon's also the name of his son, his firstborn son. And that's so Alicent took that. George. Alicent basically like, oh, it was basically a Martha moment. It's like, oh, you said a name, so I'm just gonna run to my own story. And
why you say that name? Why did you
say that name? Aegon, save Aegon.
Aegon should be. Yep, I heard enough.
Yep, that's all I need to know. He said Aegon. Go run tell everybody. Viserys said Aegon should be king before he died. And I was the only one in the room that heard it. I was the
only one that heard it. But why would you doubt the queen?
Exactly.
Like I have a reason to lie.
And they're like,
in the house of lies.
Okay. So we're going to take your word for it. So they rush to have a coronation where Aegon gets crowned as the king. Yep. And in the midst of that, Rhaenyra is trying to lobby support from the other houses because she knows that this is going to be a war because they basically took her rightful crown. And so in the midst of her sending her boys out to the different houses to try to basically drum up their support,
smooth things over, and
Jace runs to, I forget whose house he was at when he ran into Aemond, but they run into each other. And so the king or whoever they went to go see, they were basically told Jace like, look, you are coming at with me with nothing. At least, you know, the High Towers, the Greens, they came talking about they'll, you know, marry off my daughters, you know, give me money, all this other kind of stuff. You just offering support and maybe some dragons. Like, I don't know. It's not enough. You know, you got some stiff competition. And so Jace was like, all right, cool. Look, I'm about to roll out. And as he's leaving, Aemond rolls up on him with his giant SUV suburban Escalade sized dragon.
Yeah.
And they have like a little dogfight on dragons in the sky. And even
he claimed that he was playing with him, but you know, with that dragon that
you have animals. Dragons are essentially animals, and when animals feel threatened, they're gonna fight back. And so while Jace was trying to run away, the dragon was like I ain't no punk bitch.
Right. He did like some type of evasive maneuver and tried to defend himself with it, and I think he kind of flew across his eye or something, like you rider, like you little bitch. And the dragon said, like you said, he got the wrong one.
Right. And so after that, it was on sight for the dragons. And so Aemond couldn't pull him back.
Nope.
Because, I mean, this dragon is like 80 times your size.
This ain't Avatar where they got a little connection in their ponytail.
And then they pull it out and then they go blink. Like, you can't unplug the dragon. It don't work like that.
Them connections ain't made yet. This dragon was straight dragon and he ate that boy.
Yeah.
And all they had was wings falling down.
Wings and blood. And so we are left at the end of season 1 with Rhaenyra's son killed, Alicent's son responsible for it, and we
That's a nice recap, Spider.
Hey, there's a whole lot more that I didn't mention.
They need to go watch our videos.
They need to go watch our videos. Go watch season 1 of House of the Dragon.
Synopsis.
Yeah. But let's take a look at season 2's trailer to see what we can see that's going to happen here in season 2.
Let's see this.
The Targaryen who sits the Iron Throne is not just a king or a queen. They are a protector of the realm. Now I find myself in an impossible position.
All hail, King Aegon!
I don't know why anybody wanted
The
to sit
enemy
on
usurped
that
my
throne.
throne.
It looks so uncomfortable.
Well, it's meant to be.
Well, what are we going to do about it?
Yeah, he's not the best.
Must play the board before us.
Proceed cautiously.
Fuck dignity! I want revenge.
Not a
News
whole lot
spreads
of
through
them
the
left.
realm. No. The great houses will come to our side.
there's two dragons.
I did not think they would be so eager to die.
There
My
will be
ships
death
sail
in
at your
the show.
command.
Oh, absolutely.
The realm's only hope is in a leader strong enough to unite it.
Do you accept me as your queen and ruler?
Oh, wow. You know, he wanted the throne for himself. For a long time. I don't see how they don't have more notifications on the ground.
Not like this.
Alicent
And I don't mean from the dragons.
That makes her a fool.
The enemy without may be fought with swords. The enemy within is more insidious.
There is more than one way to fight a war.
War is coming, and neither of us may win.
I forgot she had a dragon too.
Oh, yeah. She got the gold. Cyrax, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Go get your plans to HBO Max starting at $9.99 a month.
Yeah, because, where else would you put that?
Right.
Oh, it's one of your franchise shows. I want to pull in some subscriptions. I apologize. I know we normally go in on these trailers, but I was really trying to see what was going on and hear what was going on and follow what was going on, because I was trying to see if there was some jumps. It doesn't look like there's as many jumps as this time as it was last time.
No, I don't think we're gonna get like year-long jumps. I think if anything, we may get a jump at the maybe at like the first episode, because we know we're going to pick up where a war is going to be declared, because we're going to get the aftermath of what happened. Yeah, that was Sir Christian.
What did bitch ass?
I forgot that was his nickname.
That's his
Sir
nickname.
Christian with his bitch ass.
With his bitch ass. That boy made Drake look tough.
But no, so we know that we're going to deal with the aftermath of Rhaenyra getting this news, and how we get to, I would imagine that there's going to be some sort of reasoning from Alicent to Rhaenyra to try to get her to understand it was a mistake. He didn't mean for it to happen. All
it's
this
too late. I
lost
lost a child.
Exactly. And this is after Alicent was about to take a knife and cut Jace's eye out after she found out that he sliced Aemon's eye. So we already know that the animosity is there. So why should we believe that any part of it was an accident or a mistake? Or
here's the thing, we don't.
Aemon could have secretly wanted it. And there's one thing that we didn't talk about when we were talking about the recap, is that Aegon didn't want to be king. He was
That's right.
he was drunk all the time.
That's right.
He didn't like learn his history. He was very resistant to the idea of becoming king up until Viserys died. And then Alicent kind of forced it on him. It's like, basically, this is your birthright. This is your legacy. So you need to get your shit together. And now because I don't know how much Viserys was actually able to teach him, because by the time Aegon became of age, like a young man, Viserys was already in failing health. So all the scenes that we got with Aegon was with Alicent. I don't know if we got any scene with Viserys actually talking to Aegon, like giving him some kingly wisdom or anything like that.
Not that I'm aware of, and it don't look like we're going to do any flashbacks. I don't think we're looking at these episodes in sequential order. I think
absolutely not.
Cut them in any kind of way we can, but it still seems as though we're not time jumping.
No. Like I said, if anything, there may be like a few months of a jump at the beginning, but I think that everything else throughout the season will be fairly sequential.
As it should be. Again, the biggest complaint about the first season was there was too much time jumping. And if that was a small critique that they listened to, then how could they not be, happy with the results of slowing it down, letting us get more involved in characters? Because again, if Daemon's not on Rhaenyra's side, she has to look out for him as well. And we've already established that he's a threat.
Oh, absolutely.
He has loyalties to the family, but he also is unpredictable.
And it would just take for Rhaenyra to die. And then if the Blacks win, then Rhaenyra is the only thing that's stopping him from becoming king.
There you go.
And he does not seem the type to hesitate to. Well, he's not the type to hesitate to kill his own wife.
He's killed a wife before.
Yes,
he's killed before. I mean, divorces.
Divorces are different.
Divorces are different.
We can't just take you to court and be like, look, let's just divide up the kingdom. You get 50%, I get 50%. You take these 2 dragons, I take these 3 dragons. And it don't work like
Thrones. Game of Thrones. You got to get that Game of Thrones divorce,
which is death.
Make no mistake. Yeah, Spider's right. You think you could just take the trip to take your dragon, go to
the Justice of the Peace, put it in the parking lot. Like, look, we
debt to you and your dragon.
we came to a civil separation. We just want to divide up the property equally. We want to make sure that the kids are okay.
Death. All death. It's all.
Oh,
one finger slide across the neck.
That's it. Why would I put my finger to his throat?
It's a metaphor, man. Oh, but it looks interesting. I will say that, Spider. It does look interesting. We do get the reveal of some new dragons.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of other stuff that goes on. This is just the main storyline. But one thing they have understood how to do is put the characters first in this story. So therefore, I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I want to see where they go because they're close to the books, but they go off script sometimes. They go off page sometimes, and that's what we're there for. And then they incorporate some of the big moments that happen in the books on screen, and that's what the people want to see.
Right.
That's what they want to see. Thrones is back, baby. It's Thrones, baby. It's Thrones.
Thrones. And it'll be here soon. We're talking about in just a couple weeks.
And listen, one thing we did in our first House of the Dragons watch was let y'all know something that y'all wasn't aware of, that we're going to do it again in this second iteration of Dragons, okay? There will be dragons. There will be dragons in the show. That's what I'm telling you. We told y'all the first time. Telling you now, if you don't like dragons in your show, this one's not for you. This not yours. This not one you want to watch.
I mean, we can clearly see there are more dragons that have been shown in this trailer than I feel like all of season 1.
Let y'all know they got dragons in here. Just there go one right there.
And here's one of the things that I hope for is that we know that in season 1 we had the episode where Damon and Rhaenyra were on the beach at night and they were having a conversation, and
they also had sex.
Yeah, that led it to it. But
yeah, okay.
One of the things was that it was notoriously, and it kind of went down as like a big news article for that week, is that the scene itself was shot during the day and they changed the lighting digitally, and the way that they filmed it and then what they did in the post editing, they made it look like it was night, but it just made for such a dark shot scene. Like, it was really poorly lit for nighttime shooting
on purpose. Yeah,
it like really looked like it was unnaturally, because normally you have moonlight, right, and you could just definitely tell it was not a natural darkness, and so it made for a really bad scene when it came to trying to understand what was going on in that scene. And what the showrunner said was like, oh well, the way we shot it is just not compatible with today's television, basically blaming it on the viewer. Like, basically your TV's too shitty to see the scene the way that we intended it to be seen.
Your TV's not smart. It's not educated. It doesn't know what it knows now.
But so I'm just hoping, because I know what they were doing was a lot of the scenes, nighttime scenes with dragons in it, they made it rainy, because what that does is that gives you sort of this layer of
shadow and depth
of shadow, and because it doesn't have to be as well lit, because what it's letting the show is letting the lightning do the lighting for you, because you can have localized lighting in just one area based on where the lightning is striking, as opposed to the whole dragon being lit up at once. And so what that does, it allows imperfections in the rendering to be hidden, because we're not able to see the entire thing all at once. So you got the darkness, and then the lightning strikes, and then you have the rain on top of it. So that's basically hiding all of the like things that would look weird and make it look, even though of course we know that it's a CG dragon.
And dragons aren't real. That's
right. So
sorry.
It allows us to not see all of those imperfections. So, but I just hope that the scenes where we have actual people in the darkness are lit and filmed a little bit better than what we saw in season 1.
Well, it's season 2. You got to step it up. You can't do the same things you did in season 1 without elevating it. I mean, so Christensen and his bitch ass got close-ups.
So I'm wondering, because we didn't see Damon with any women before.
Who says we're going to see him with him now?
Well, I mean, he's clearly shirtless and laying in a woman's lap. But it could...
Don't confuse soft hands with a woman's touch. This is Thrones, baby.
That is also true.
Just remember, divorces work differently here.
But we see his sapphire in his eye again.
Yeah, you got to get reminded. How did he get that like that again?
I don't think we really saw how he got it. It was just we saw it and he had it in his eye. I think I learned about it from watching like recap videos and stuff. I don't think it was ever explained in the
we know he lost his eye, but
we know he lost his eye, but
I don't know if
they never
enough that I'll
put a rock in it.
Rock in it.
Because I mean, you still have like the muscles and everything like that when you still look. I don't know. I don't know how biology works.
Just go hold it open so other stuff could fly in there while I'm riding.
But that's why you got the eye patch.
So when I take it off, stuff don't go in there.
I mean, he takes it off when he goes to sleep, so his eyes are closed, I guess. I don't know what he does.
I'm gonna put this.
Take his eye out, put it in a jar of water. He rinses it. Like when people have their dentures on a nightstand. He got a little solution. The maesters gave him a little concoction to drop his rock in and put it in a goblet on his bedside table.
Disinfectant gel. There we go.
You know how much I would burn? You put that back in your eye. That's what keeps him so angry. Every morning he has to put that thing back in his face. He just has a good, nice scream.
Rattling around in there. He got rocks on the brain, boy. I'm just
That's something. But no, like we say, it's Thrones. Thrones does what Thrones does, so we know what the tone of the show is going to be. And so we'll just see if they can keep knocking it out of the park with this story.
And if they don't, we're going to be right here to let y'all know where they stuff at.
Exactly. So let us know what you think about this trailer. And are you excited for the return of House of the Dragon? Are you looking forward to anything? If you've read the book, is there a particular, well, let's not go into particular scenes that you might be wanting to look forward to, because we don't want to spoil anything for the viewers who are going to be watching along with us. But let us know what you thought about the trailer in the comments, and also let us know what you thought about this episode. Remember, if you like it, just go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to follow us on social media, just click the link in the description below.
And leave a comment, because we read those.
We do read the comments.
That's it. The instructions are simple.
Why Christian looks so goddamn confused? He looks so lost.
That's why, because he a bitch ass knight. He a bitch ass knight. That's what he is.
Oh God.
Oh, soft. You might as well write poetry, boy. You is soft, boy.
Oh.
Softer than Charmin. I don't know. I hope he's one of the characters that just go ahead and get thrones. Get Game of Thrones.
I mean, we don't know. We never know. We never know who's gonna make it to the end of the season.
Tuna in a can is what he is.
We should have a Deadpool for House of the Dragon.
Yeah, why not? We can start one.
We should take bets
on who's gonna
make it. But you can only play if you haven't read the books. Because we don't want anybody that's cheating. If you already know, I know that's a hard thing for us to enforce.
I swear I never read the books. I never read them all. It's that one summer. That's it.
Well, I don't know. We'll take bets once the season starts to see. We'll watch the first episode and we'll take a gauge on. We'll have a little segment on who's gonna make it throughout the season, and we'll place some bets, see who's gonna make it. But
Sir Christensen with his bitch ass for 300 Jack. Say Jack.
Oh, but like we said, Dragons is back. Game of Thrones is back.
It's Thrones, baby. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens for season 2 of House of the Dragon. But we'll be back. Thank you all for joining us on this episode. We greatly appreciate it. We will be back in the next one. But until then, just remember, keep being super.